G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Trewin. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm interviewing Kristi Herold from Jam Group, based in Toronto, Canada. Thanks for your time today, Kristi.
Hey, thanks for having me, Troy. I'm excited to be here.
Let's start with how we know each other. I first heard you on John Warrillow's podcast, Build to Sell Radio, which is a weekly podcast I listen to, 3 or 4 episodes a week at the moment to get through the back catalogue. Amazing content. And we actually had John on our cast, episode 500. But I also heard Joey Coleman reference you and Jam Group in his great book, Never Lose an Employee. We had Joey on episode 520 as well. So that's how we connected.
Awesome. Love those guys. They're both amazing business people. So that's great to hear. That's how we got connected to each other.
Yeah. Then I reached out to him on LinkedIn and I was very grateful you decided to come on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
Sure. We connect people through play and we help companies profit through play. So we have 2 main verticals. The one side of the business is adult recreational sports leagues. It's a B2C business that's in about 25 different cities. So think of it like intramurals. I don't know if you call it intramurals in your part of the world. When people go to college or university and they play recreational sports, we call that intramurals in North America. So my business is intramurals for people who are no longer in college or university. Once you graduate and you want to be able to stay connected with friends from school or connect with people that you work with, or you just want to meet new people in the city you're living in, you can sign up to play adult recreational sports with Jam. And we run everything from volleyball, basketball, soccer, flag football, ultimate frisbee, softball, kickball, dodgeball, floor hockey, curling, tennis, pickleball, all sorts of sports. So we're doing that in 25 cities now, have hundreds of thousands of people playing. And then the other side of the business is Jam Corporate. We started that during the pandemic because during the pandemic, I know mandates were pretty rough in Australia and they were incredibly harsh in the part of Canada where most of our business is. So we lost about 18 months of revenue during the pandemic. We were shut down for that long. They wouldn't allow us to have our rec sports leagues going. So we started this corporate side, connecting companies through play. Initially, it was virtual events. We were running online virtual events, things like trivia nights, scavenger hunts. We started doing all these different game shows. We built a bunch of escape rooms. And that piece of the business, we did over $1 million in revenue in the first year of operating that business. We're now doing virtual events and in-person events as well. So that's the Jam corporate side where we help companies connect their people through play and profit through play because it's improving their workplace culture by doing so.
Yeah, I love it. And it's a genius idea, like bringing all these communities together through play. A lot of it's sport, obviously, but yeah, I think it's wonderful. Really enjoyed listening to both Joey have you on their casts and books. Yeah. How did you start out?
How did I start out? I've always been one of those people that was the social connector. I was always the organizer of my friend groups everywhere I went through high school, university. And when I had grown up in a small city about 4 hours north of Toronto, went to university a couple hours east of Toronto, and I moved to Toronto, the big city, after university, didn't know a lot of people, wanted to meet new people. And I had heard about these recreational sports leagues in Chicago and in San Francisco, and Toronto didn't have anything like that. And the only leagues I could find to meet people were really competitive leagues. And I was a good athlete, but I wasn't a competitive women's soccer player. So I was afraid to sign up for something like that. So I decided, hey, why not try something like this? Why not? And I knew I wanted to run my own business. I'd always been an entrepreneur all through high school and university. I wanted to try something new anyway. So in 1996, I started the business. It was initially called the Toronto Sport and Social Club, had about 2 teams playing sports with us that very first season. And this coming year, we will have over 15,000 teams play sports with us in the year. So maybe closer to even 20,000. We'll have a lot more people playing these days than we did in 1996. So it's been a fun ride.
That's great. Amazing growth over the 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so how old were you when you started in 1996, 28 years ago?
26 years old.
26, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, right out of university. I traveled for a bit, and then actually I was 25, I guess, when I first started in, yeah. And yeah, I've been doing it for 28 years now, gone through lots of ups and downs over the years, and here we are. It's pretty exciting to see the growth we've had. I never in a million years did I think, it was never my vision when I first started to have the company get to the size it was. I was just looking to do something fun for myself, have something that would keep me busy and keep me able to earn an income. I thought maybe I can earn a good income doing this. We'll see. And it's been quite something to see how many employees we've been able to create work for, and the millions of people whose lives we've touched in a positive way over the year. That's the best part for me, is getting to see the people out playing soccer or softball or football. And I know that they're playing sports because of the work that my team and I are doing, and they're meeting their best friends, and they're meeting their love partners. There are thousands of babies that exist in this world today because of Jam, because people met playing in our leagues and then get married and start a family. So it's pretty great, the impact we've had.
And do you just focus on Canada, or you're in US as well?
No, yeah, we're Canada and the US. We're majority Canadian right now. We're probably 75% Canada, 25% US. We're in Atlanta and Michigan, and then we're in a bunch of other cities in Canada. Yeah.
And do you have any other key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business?
The fact that we've gone from 0 to one full-time employee, to now about 50 full-time employees and probably 400 to 500 part-time employees. We would have done about 50,000 in revenue the very first year. We're well over 8 figures in revenue now. We'll probably have over 20% growth this coming year. We've done a lot of acquisitions, which has really helped scale us. And yeah, so I don't know, does that help?
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing growth. Well done. When was the moment you felt like you had succeeded?
When was the moment I felt like I succeeded? That's an interesting question. I think when we hit $1 million in revenue, I think that really blew me away. I was like, wow, okay, this can be a business. That was something. But I think even more would have been the day I got an email forwarded to me from one of my customer service teammates. This was 7 or 8 years ago. And the email was a letter from a customer who said, I want to thank you for the work you and your team are doing at Jam. Your leagues saved my life. And reading that, it brought me to tears. The impact that our work is doing is just, it's so much more powerful to me than, as much as I love growing the business and revenues, it's the positive impact we're making on people's lives is what's incredibly touching. We've had 4 different people get our logo tattooed on their bodies because of how life-changing Jam has been to their lives. Those are the kinds of things that when I hear that, and when I hear people introduce me to their child and they say, remember when I signed up to play flag football in 2002? Well, this is the result. Here are my kids that are now, those are the kinds of things that really make me feel successful, honestly.
Yeah. Well, does that answer the next question? What does success look like to you?
Yeah, success is more, I think, having a positive impact on people's lives. That's what helps me get out of bed every day. Just knowing we're touching people's lives in such a great way. It's not life insurance. Not that there's anything wrong with life insurance, but that wouldn't drive me, right? That just wouldn't do it for me. Although it's important, and it hopefully does excite other people. I get excited by creating these connections for people, and it just makes me so happy. I thought about selling the business actually about 8 years ago, and I was trying to think, well, what brings me the most joy? And I realized what honestly brings me the most joy is when I'm driving past a playing field in the evening, or I go past where the beach volleyball courts are, and I see all of our Jam t-shirts out there and people are playing because of the work we do. I'm just like, why would I sell this business? Like, I love this. I love that so let's grow it instead. So that's when the big scaling began, was in 2016, when I realized I shouldn't sell it, I should grow it.
Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast growing business?
Great service. I think we didn't spend a lot of money for the first 20 years on on building our business in terms of marketing. We focused on great service, and word of mouth became our best form of advertising, because, and it's still probably today still is the case, because the truth is we do advertise now more than we used to, but I could fill all the capacity we had with word of mouth. I had more people wanting to play than I had space to play. So back in the day, I didn't spend a lot of money on marketing, but we really focused on great service, because then people who had fun playing with us would tell their friends and invite their friends out to play and invite their coworkers out to play, and they might sign up to play a second night. And so we created raving fans by just trying to deliver really great service. I think that is so key. Even to this day, it's word of mouth is gold, right? Way better than seeing an ad pop up on your Instagram feed. We do both now because we do have more capacity available, but I think that's a really important element that I don't regret doing that.
And you use Net Promoter Score. Do you want to tell the audience your numbers? You use it on several levels.
Yeah, we do. We look at our numbers on both sides of both the sports side of the business and the corporate side of the business. And our Net Promoter Score on the sports side, because we look at it regionally, it ranges from low 30s to mid 50, like 55, I think is our highest region right now. We're on average about 40 globally, which I know for people who understand what Net Promoter Score is, that's actually a really great score. We're pretty happy with that. Our goal is to be over 50. We would like to be 50 plus. That's part of our vision, but we're sitting at 40 globally. I'd like to see that get better. And then on the corporate side of the business, we're at a 72, which I'm super excited with. I think that is quite incredible that we're at that number.
That is phenomenal. Yeah, that is phenomenal. And for the audience, I'll include a link in the show notes through a blog post I wrote about Net Promoter Score, because it's a positive or a negative score between how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or a colleague between 0 and 10. And it's not a percentage like 9.5 out of 10. So that, I think 25 is about the average around the world. 50 is great, is a really great score. 72, anything above 70 is phenomenal. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, we take a lot of pride in that. And I really would love to get our sports side back up to 50. It took a hit during the pandemic, and so we're just really growing it back now. And I'm excited to see it get over 50 soon, hopefully.
How did you fund the business?
It's all been pretty much bootstrapped myself. We did do a few acquisitions. We've had bank debt, but we haven't taken any investors yet. We may at some point. We're getting ready to potentially look at taking on some investors to speed up some more acquisitions that we want to do, but we haven't done so as yet.
Yep. All right. If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
Like funding or not, I would 100% go into my industry, because it just feels so darn good for me. It really, the purpose of what we do, connecting people through play, it just really gets me excited. It gets me excited to get out of bed every day. And I'm not sure that what other industry would do that for me. I mean, maybe helping mentor people in entrepreneurship, and I love keynote speaking, but I really love, and I love corporate culture, but I don't know. I just really like what we do. So yeah, 100% I would.
Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
The most stressful point?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the pandemic. I mean, we had at that point in time, probably 43, 44 full-time employees. And March 13th, 2020, I was in Mexico with my daughter on her grade 12 grad trip. And I had to lay off employees over the video call, had to basically put everyone on a temporary hiatus. We didn't know what was going to be happening. We didn't know how long. I mean, that was an incredibly stressful, honestly, 2 years. It was pretty brutal. The first 3 months were agonizing. I was depressed. I'm fortunate. I don't typically deal with depression, but that put me into a pretty dark place. We should have been celebrating 25 years in the business, and we were being told we weren't allowed to operate. We hadn't done anything wrong, but the mandates were threatening to put us into bankruptcy. I didn't know how I was going to cover our bills and we just didn't know how long it would go on for. And it went on for a really long time. And what did I learn from it? I learned that we have to be agile and pivot and find better ways which is one of our core values, find a better way. And so we started this corporate business on a wing and a prayer. We didn't really know if it would work. It didn't it didn't make us profitable, but it definitely helped us cover a lot of our overhead. It helped us survive. And it actually gave us a sense of purpose. And I think because of also in hindsight, people often will say to me, the pandemic must have been the worst thing. And yet in that moment it was, but in hindsight, I'm really glad it happened to us because I look at how resilient we proved ourselves to be as a team. And we started this new vertical that we wouldn't have otherwise. And I wrote my book. I wrote a book, It Pays to Play, How Play Improves Business Culture, which I wouldn't have written that book had the pandemic not happened. So there are a lot of great things that come from it, from challenges like that. And I think just being able to pick yourself up and keep going and one step in front of the other. And I'm really glad we didn't give up because it at times felt like that might have been the thing to do. So I'm happy we didn't.
We'll link through to your book in the show notes so the audience can easily get to that.
Awesome.
What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
Sorry, give me that again. What area have we had to work on the most to add the most value to the business or to our customers?
Yeah, what area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value to the business?
I would say, so from the first 20 years of the business was just organic growth. I wanted to have a lifestyle business. I had 3 young children and I wanted to be around for them. I didn't want to be traveling, and it was great. Had a great team. They were operating. We were having nice, slow, steady growth every year. And then I was bored, and that's when I was considering selling the business in 2016. And then I realized, no, I don't want to sell this. I want to grow it. So how am I going to do that? That's where I had to learn a lot because I knew organic growth was slow. Franchising would also be slow, frankly. And because there were already leagues like ours all over the place. And so the fastest growth was going to be through acquisitions. And I didn't know how to do acquisitions. I didn't know what that meant. And this is what I talked about on John Morwillow's podcast. I spent a good year being the dumbest person in the room and talking to a lot of people way smarter than me and asking them, what does it mean to do a roll up? How does this work? And why would I do this? And so since that time, we've done 11 acquisitions since 2017. We did about 8 before the pandemic up until 2020. And then we've done 3 post-pandemic. Just closed our largest one in March of this past year in Atlanta, Georgia, which is now our second biggest market next to Toronto. And doing that has added huge value in 2 different ways. It's obviously grown the revenues. We're a much bigger organization. What I really also love, we've created career opportunities for my staff. I have people on my team now who have worked with us for 17, 18 years, 10, 12, 6, 7, 8 years. If we hadn't started to really grow like this, these amazing teammates would have left to go elsewhere because you can only get so high in a certain size business and get so much experience. And by growing the way we have, we're creating these great new career opportunities. People can move up, they can move sideways, they can get where if we hadn't had that growth, they wouldn't have been able to. And I love our team and our culture is absolutely, it's one of the most important things to us. And so creating playful opportunities for our customers and creating career opportunities and a great culture for our team, those are the 2 things that excite me the most. So it's been amazing to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I love what I've heard about your culture, and there's one story I'd love for you to convey in a minute when we get to that part. But what have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
Probably red tape. I don't like red tape. I just like to be like, okay, this is a great idea. Let's do this. Let's go. The bigger we get, the harder that is to do. We are not as agile today as we were when there were 5 of us on our team. It's just the reality. And I understand it because I have to respect my team and the other leaders on my team and make sure they're empowered and not feeling like I'm just saying, let's do this and we have to do it this way. And this is, if I were to lead like that, I wouldn't have great people. I wouldn't be able to keep great people. And so it's just me as a classic entrepreneur wanting to get shit done. That's one of our core values. And I want to just go, go, go. And I can't always go, go, go. So sometimes we joke that my partner, Rob, who has worked with me now since 1999, I'm the gas pedal and he's the brakes. And it's like the visionary and the integrator. And every good car has a brake pedal on it, right? You'd drive off a cliff a lot if you just only had a gas pedal. So it is really good that he's there. as my breaks, but it does sometimes drive me a bit crazy.
What do you love most about growing a small business?
I think, again, I'm just passionate in particular about the purpose. I love having control of my own time, and I probably work way more than if I had a 9 to 5 job, right? That's the honest truth. Although it's my time. I can decide. No one's telling me I have to be there. So I do love that aspect of being an entrepreneur. My dad he was an entrepreneur, and I loved that he was always around for special, my sports events or whatever. He could come out of the office and come and cheer me on at a soccer game. And so I love that aspect, my freedom in that sense, even though I probably work more than I would otherwise.
What has been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
I think from going that transition in 2016 when I was pretty bored. I mean, it had been 20 years of really organic growth, nice, slow, steady organic growth, lifestyle business, to actually really trying to scale, do a roll up. It's big, totally different shift, because the first 20 years, the business is a cash cow. Now I'm probably working harder, making less money personally, because we're reinvesting and growing. We're growing something versus just a cash cow, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
Never give up. It's just that resiliency, I think, is really important, because every day, some days they're just the best. And then there are a lot of days where you ask yourself, why am I doing this again? This isn't fun, dealing with a lawsuit or dealing with financials that are not as good as, or what. There's certain aspects. Putting out fires is not dealing with HR issues that come up. No one wants to deal with that stuff, right? Ever. And that's not when you start your business, that's not where you see yourself spending time. But as you grow a business, inevitably you have to get processes into place, and you have to have policies, and you have to deal with putting out fires that you didn't necessarily ever even foresee. So for sure, it's just recognizing that not every day is going to be doing the things you love, but as long as you can maintain a focus on your purpose, if you're passionate about the purpose, then hopefully more days than not will feel good.
Now, these next two questions, I think you're going to add a lot of value to the audience around people and culture. Can you talk to how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening? Want specific advice to help you get your business through its number one growth challenge? Book a free 20-minute growth chat with me, Troy, the founder of Grow a Small Business. I'll recommend some resources which will help you grow your business with ease so you can live the lifestyle you've signed up for. Go to growasmallbusiness.com and click on Growth Chat.
How I've added people to the team, some mistakes and advice.
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah, and wins, yeah.
wins? I learned a pretty tough lesson when I was in university. I was running my own student painting franchise. I had 10 painters that worked for me in the summer, and we were painting residential homes. And in my very first summer, half of my painters quit on me. So the summer, it was basically May through August. And by the end of June, 5 of the painters had quit. And I was like, wait, what? What's just happened here? Now I have to stop selling, stop marketing, stop production. I have to go recruit, hire, train new painters so that I can get back to producing again. And so that was it was a rough go. And I had to ask myself, like, why have they all quit? And when I looked in the mirror, I know why they quit. They quit because I was being a dictator. I wasn't a very caring or thoughtful or compassionate employer. And I remember my dad sitting down with me. Again, he was an entrepreneur, and he sat me down and he said, the thing you need to remember when you run your own business is that people are priority. If you don't have a great team of people, you can have your values, your vision, your purpose, have all that written on a wall. Isn't that lovely? If you don't have a cohesive team of people bringing those pillars of culture to life, you've got nothing. Because if you can just do the business by yourself, well, then great, go crazy. But if you really want to grow a business and go after big targets, you need a team who can help you do that. And so you need to treat that team of people really well and incentivize them and share your vision and share your values and make sure they're aligned with all that and that they're incentivized to go after the same vision. So I think that was probably the biggest lesson I learned in a very early age, which really set the course for me to develop a fun culture. When it did come time to start hiring employees in the early days of my business, I knew I wanted it to be a fun place to work. And it's a work hard, play hard attitude. My team know I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and do the hard work myself, but they recognize I'm also want them to have fun, and I'm willing to have a good time too. So I think finding that balance is really, really important.
I think it was in Joey's book that described how you onboard new team members. Do you want to maybe explain that to when someone starts on their first day?
Yeah. Joey Coleman's book, Never Lose an Employee Again. Yes, he did talk about Jam and our onboarding process because it's pretty special. We take a lot of pride in our culture. We have a lot of different things that we do that are super, super fun. I mean, that's what I write about in my book, all the different cultural aspects. And funnily enough, I actually didn't even I don't think I even wrote about that in my own book. So Joey shared about how we onboard a new employee. We want their first day at Jam to feel really special, to feel that they're welcomed right away. We don't want them to walk in and meet with HR and sit down and start filling in paperwork all day long and not really connect with anyone. We want them to walk in and feel immediately part of the team. So when they fill in their application, anyone who even makes it to an interview process, we already have the information that we take, one of which is what would be your walk-up song if you're walking up to hit a baseball. What's your walk-up song? What's that loud song you want blaring? So the minute they walk into the office, that song is blaring, and our staff are all waiting, ready to welcome them with a high five. We call it a high five welcome. And our rookies on the team are all wearing, so a rookie is anyone who's less than a year. Veterans have been on the team for a year or more. When you become a veteran on our team, you get a hockey jersey. It's a Jam hockey jersey. Your name's on the back and your number is the year that you started. So you can imagine you've got this team of all the rookies are wearing their hoodies, their Jam hoodies, and all the veterans are in their hockey jerseys. And this new employee walks in and their song is blaring and we're high-fiving and cheering them. And they walk into the boardroom. And then up on the boardroom are all the teammates who are not necessarily based in the Toronto office or whatever office they might be joining the team in. There's a bunch of people are up on the screen called in virtually. And we could do a quick round of 3 silly questions, just get to know you questions. The whole process takes about 5 minutes. And then they also get drafted. Joey doesn't even know about this. This is something we started a year ago. They immediately get drafted to their house. We have Harry Potter houses in our business. So we have 4 houses, and we do the sorting hat, and they get drafted into their house, and they get their house colors, and so now they have this. They feel really welcomed in a really fun, lighthearted, playful way. And they have this immediate group that's their house, that they're part of this smaller team. Because at 50 people, it can feel like starting to feel like a bigger organization, and you don't want people to get lost. So that house team is responsible for their first week welcome. They make sure they have lunch with their new teammates, that they get run through the ropes of all the different things we do. So that's one of the little initiatives we do is the clap in. And I'll tell you, everyone remembers their first day at Jam.
Absolutely. I was just telling someone yesterday in a meeting about the Jam experience on their first day. The other small touch that I think I remember reading about in Joey's book in part of that process is that the manager or their line manager actually meets them in the car park.
Yes. So they're told to arrive. It's always at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, because everyone's busy on Monday. So they never start on a Monday. They always start on a Tuesday, and it's always at 10 o'clock. So then we can all have gotten there. We've settled ourselves in, and then whoever their team leader is, was their hiring manager, they meet them in the parking lot and walk them upstairs, so that they're texting us going, okay, we're in the elevator. And then everyone's like running out to get ready for the high five welcome. That's why we make sure that someone greets them downstairs before, so we can make sure everyone's ready to go.
That's great. So it sounds like your book's going to be a great source of other ideas on culture, but what are any other things you'd recommend for building a sustainable and kick-ass culture?
Oh my gosh. Troy, I could go on for days. I mean, I wrote the book about it, but it's all, for me, it's all about integrating play into the day-to-day. So that doesn't mean stop what you're doing and play a volleyball game, although I do believe everyone should have corporate work teams that play sports together outside of the office. I actually think it's a really powerful way to forge friendships, but it's about how you run your day-to-day. So we have shout out channels as an example. Our Microsoft Teams or Slack, there's a shout out channel, and there's constantly great shout outs being done, recognizing good work. We do a core value award once a month where people nominate each other, and we'll have 30, 40 nominations every month. And I read through the entire list of all the nominations. We do a presentation, and whoever got the most nominations wins the core value award. So people are highlighting great work being done and everyone's hearing it. So it feels good to share gratitude and highlight someone else, but it also feels good to receive it. And it's done in a really playful, fun way. We do things like every single meeting we run at Jam, if there's 4 or more people, we press play to start. And what that means is the meeting time, you show up on time. As soon as the meeting starts, whoever is leading the meeting presses play to start. And it's basically 3-4 minutes of a playful connection. It might be there's a riddle to solve together. They might play a little word game. It might be a card game that you quickly play. It might be asking a question. Tell me about a time when blah, blah, blah. So you're just playfully settling in. And then it's like, okay, let's go. Let's get to work. You're getting to know your colleagues as friends. And that's when the friendships that foster are what really help get great work done, because people who care about their teammates as friends are far more likely to be engaged with the work they're doing. I mean, studies have shown companies where you're 60% or more of your team report having a close friend at work are 12% more profitable. I mean, this stuff really adds up. We do little things like we'll have a dodgeball that sits on our boardroom table. So if it's your turn to talk, you're holding the ball. It's a physical reminder. Don't hog the floor. Get to the point, and then someone else who wants to speak, you throw them the ball. It's just a playful way to pay attention, pass the ball, don't hog the mic. And it's just a silly little thing, but it's all about integrating play into the day-to-day. So I mean, I could go on for days with all the things that we do to help do that. And there's so many ways. There's not one right way for any organization. There's tons of different ways to do so.
I've got a 3-hour drive later today, so I'm definitely going to smash your book out in the car.
Nice. Thank you.
That sounds like a perfect source for great ideas around building a kick-ass culture. Tell our audience how you've handled balance.
I think better before I started doing acquisitions. My balance was fantastic for the first 20 years. If I'm in the middle of a deal, it's hard to keep balance. I do find, though, it's really important to play every day. That's not just me joking. I play guitar. I will play cards after dinner with my husband. We'll play a game of backgammon. We play pickleball. I just think play is a great way to get into a flow state and connect with other people, whether it's at work or in your personal life. It's so, so powerful. So playing music, playing games, reading a book. I love to travel. So I'm actually going away in 2 weeks, taking a full month off. My team's amazing. They want me to go away. They want me to shut down. And so I think it's just a matter of delegating, having a great team in place that you can trust, that you've taught them the ropes, and let them make mistakes and learn from them. Trust that it's all going to work out. But if you do that, it allows you to get yourself some freedom here and there. The fact that I could honestly go away for 6 months and my team, the business would run just fine. It would be great. Probably better without me around. Honestly, I'm probably more of a nuisance at times.
Yeah, that play piece. On Sundays, I play in a informal basketball. There's no comp going, but the mates organise 20 or 30 of us on the roster. Yeah. We play full 4 quarters. It's mixed, and from beginners through to advanced players. It's a lot of fun, but nearly everyone on the team says it's the thing they look forward to most, apart from hanging out with their friends. Every week. Yeah. Just blowing off a bit of steam. We're taking the piss out of each other, doing coaching during the game as well to the people that have just started. And it's just so much fun, just that camaraderie and joy. And
so doing that, imagine you do that with a group of work friends. You grab some of your teammates from the office to go play in a recreational beach volleyball or whatever. And if you don't have enough people in your own office, if you're a team of, you've only got 5 people, join up with 1 or 2 other companies, get a team together. And if you're a big organization, have a couple teams going, because what it does is it gets people in different departments starting to get to know each other. So then when they go into the office the next day, or they're on their remote phone, virtual calls, whatever, they're having some laughs about the game last night, and they've fostered this friendship, and it's really powerful stuff. They're being physically healthy and mentally healthy. I mean, the Mayo Clinic, have you heard of the Mayo Clinic?
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah. They've done a study that shows when we combine play with our physical exercise, it adds 20% more longevity to our lives.
Wow.
So instead of just going to the gym to run on a treadmill, that's great. Do the treadmill, do the weights. But if you can get basketball or pickleball or tennis or soccer happening in your like once or twice a week, you're adding more to your life, because the mental health benefit we get from connecting in person with friends. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. There's a lot of studies coming out showing that loneliness is a silent killer, particularly as we get older. If we don't have those community connections, it can really bring on mental health and depression, suicide, etc.
And that was why that email I got from that woman, Emily, saying your leagues have saved my life. That was exactly why. She was lonely, didn't know anyone in the city of Toronto, got asked out to a team with a work friend, and it totally changed her life. That's exactly why. Loneliness is a really sad silent killer.
How much?
And we think we're connecting with all the social media.
Yeah,
we're not. That's not real connection, right?
No, that's right. How much professional development have you invested in yourself?
Oh, fair amount. I've been part of a lot of different business communities, the Entrepreneur Organization for a number of years. I did the Entrepreneur Masters program out of MIT in Boston through EO for a few years. I actually still go back to that class. We go every year. I've been going since 2013. I'm part of another organization called MMT, a big group of global entrepreneurs. I've invested in my speaking, I've done some workshops to improve as a keynote speaker. I'm loving doing keynotes now, speaking on workplace culture, to be able to give back a bit and help others have a little more fun with the work they're doing and make a more engaging workplace. I'm pretty passionate about that as well. So yeah, a fair amount. And I think it's really important. I have never successfully had a coach, which it's somewhat lack of trying, I think, probably, and maybe also not knowing exactly what I'm looking for in a coach, but I've found business groups, investing in groups has been very, very helpful for me over the years. I love being part of different networks that you can experience, share.
Have you had mentors along the way?
Oh, did I lose you?
I think you're just frozen there for a second. Hang on, we'll edit this, clean this up a bit. There you go. I think you're back now.
There we are. I don't know if that was, sorry, I don't know if that was me or what happened.
That's right. Have you had mentors along the way?
Yes, I have had some mentors. Greg Clark, who was the founder of College Pro Painters, was definitely a mentor, as well as Brian Scudamore, who is the founder of 1-800-GOT-JUNK and O2E Brands. He's a close friend of my brother's, and he's been an amazing mentor to me over the years.
Yeah, lost you again.
Hey.
What happened? Hey. I don't think it's my end because I've checked my speed. It's okay.
Sorry, I was trying to hotspot to my phone there, and then it's not letting me. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's so weird that my internet just dropped. That's never happened. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Just double check. It should be right. No, my speed looks all right on this end. We'll see how we go. We've only got a couple of questions left.
It's definitely me.
Okay.
It's me.
Right.
It's definitely me, because I tried to log in to LinkedIn when that last time happened and my internet was down, and now it's back. I'm trying to hotspot to my cell phone and it's not letting me, but I'm sitting in the middle of Toronto. That's never happened before. Bizarre.
It's all right. It looks like it's all right now.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We only got a few questions. So I think you covered the mentor question. We'll edit this bit up.
Sounds good.
Do you have a board of directors or advisors?
We do not. It's been something that I've often thought about. It just hasn't bubbled up to the top. I do have some advisors, though, that I rely on heavily, one for acquisitions, one for some strategy stuff, and they've both been they're both amazing. And I have a financial advisor as well, like an accountant. So between all of them and my own team, I have never felt the push to get it done, but I kind of feel like I maybe should have. I don't know.
So no formal
I don't know
meetings,
what I don't know. Pardon?
no formal meetings, no of like a board of advisors.
No, no.
Now, you're one of the few we've had on that's actually done acquisitions, and a lot of them. You've done 11. You got any advice for the audience around?
On doing an acquisition?
Yeah.
It's, I'm glad. I would just say, I don't know if I could say advice. I will say from my own experience, I'm glad we started small. I'm a big believer in walk before you run. And we've learned a lot over the years from each one, and every single one of them is different. And as I look to do more going forward, I know they will continue to all be different. Every business is operated, even though they're all the exact same business, they're all operated differently. It's just eyes wide open. And if you're interested in trying an acquisition, for me, I would say I'm happy I started small, because we learned a lot. We've learned a lot from everyone.
Yep.
If we just tried to do the last one as our first, like this one that in Atlanta, that was our biggest deal. Like if that had been our first acquisition, it would have been a disaster. So I'm happy that was our 11th, because it was big and different, and none are the same.
And are you happy with all 11? They've all gone reasonably well. No disasters in those?
Yeah, I mean, again, you learn from every one of them. Hindsight is 2020. And there have been some that have come very close where we've been in due diligence and they haven't gone through. And I'm happy about that, because as you do due diligence, you start to realize, oh, maybe this is not what they told me their business was, when you dig into things a little bit. But yeah, overall, they've all been pretty good. They've all helped us get the growth we need, and none of them are perfect, and we've learned from all of them. And we've learned what to prioritize when integrating. The integration process is tricky. Having a good team on hand who can help with integration is really important. So that's a whole other.
Yep.
Listen to the John Willow episode on that.
All right, Chris, one of our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
What do I think is the hardest thing in growing a small business? Getting up every day, excited to keep going when not every day is as fun. Knowing that there's some work you have to do that you just don't always want to do, but you got to just keep going through it. That's probably the least.
Yep. Been there, got the t-shirt and the coffee mug.
It's a roller coaster, right? The entrepreneurial roller coaster. That's a real thing.
Favorite business book which has helped you the most?
I love Joey Coleman's, both his books, Never Lose a Customer, Never Lose an Employee. I also love John DeJulius's book, Customer Service Revolution. Loved that. Big focus on customer service. I read a ton. I loved Brian Scudamore's book, WTF, Willing to Fail. It's a great book. I could go on for days. I mean, I'm obviously biased. I love my own book. I love the talking about all the different types of integrating fun and how powerful. People think work has to be all business, but actually I believe that a little play can actually make a huge impact. So it was fun to be able to write about that. And we did it for my office book club. So reading it again with my team, we do a book club every 2 months. We read a different book, and doing that with my team was actually really fun to hear their insights on my book. So yeah, I have lots of good reading. If anyone's interested, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Can never get enough.
Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
I mean, I love Guy Raz's How I Built This. I just love a good dig deep story. All those stories of overnight successes are never overnight, right? That's what I just love that. Here we are 28 years later. No one was interviewing me in 1996. Now, there weren't even podcasts in 1996, but you get the point. So that's a fun one. I just love those types of stories. And I think John Willow's podcast is amazing. He's got some really great lessons in the Built to Sell, because I honestly believe whether you want to sell your business or not, growing your business and building your business as if you may sell it one day, you will build a better business by doing so. So I actually think his podcast is really great.
Yep, absolutely. As I said at the start, listen to 3 or 4 of the old episodes a week just to get through the back catalog. And there's so much gold. not just the numbers, the multiple on EBITDA or how they sold, but traps in the legals and things like that, and just the journeys, listening to the growth journeys. Yeah, great resource. One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
Play.
Final and my favorite question. What would you tell yourself on day one of starting out 28 years ago?
It's going to be a ride. Enjoy the journey, actually. Enjoy the journey. I think there have been a lot of times where I haven't enjoyed the journey, where I've just been chasing after the next thing, the next thing, the next, check that off the box, check that off the box. And it was probably in my 15 years into the running the business, maybe 20, that I started to go, wait a second, I should actually enjoy this process along the way. Just enjoy every day. Find the gold in every day. I guess that's some maturity. So I think I wish I could have told myself that when I was 26 or 25, that just enjoy the day to day. Don't worry so much about checking things off the list. It'll all get done, and enjoy the journey on the way.
Great. Thanks so much for your time today, Kristi. I've really enjoyed our chat. Congratulations on the growth starting in 1996, now 28 years later, going from yourself full-time equivalent to now around 50 with 200 to 400 part-timers, doing great work in the communities and also with corporates around play, and having done 11 acquisitions. That's phenomenal. Well done.
Thank you so much, Troy. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been fun to chat.